Cape Coral's original neighborhood is going through the most dramatic transformation in the city's history, and boaters who get in now are going to look very smart in about 5 years. Now in this video, I'm going to take you on a complete map tour of the Yacht Club neighborhood in Southeast Cape Coral. We're going to cover exact boat travel times to open water from every canal in the neighborhood, the one bridge you need to know about, and what it means for your boat. Now we're going to cover flood zones and what Hurricane Ian taught us about this area, and why savvy buyers are paying close attention to this neighborhood right now. My name is Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor, and this is the information you won't find anywhere else. All right, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome aboard. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor, and today we're going to explore the Yacht Club neighborhood, one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Cape Coral. It's actually the original neighborhood of Cape Coral where the very first homes were built. It's in Southeast Cape Coral, and we're going to go over distance to open water. We're going to go over bridge heights in that area, and then of course flood zone. A lot of good information to cover. So let's go ahead and jump into it. But first of all, a lot of people, if you're watching this for the first time, you may not know exactly where Cape Coral is located. So let's talk about where Cape Coral is located. Cape Coral is located in Southwest Florida. It's located just across the river, just west of the river from Fort Myers, the Caloosahatchee River, and then it's located about 2 hours south of Tampa, 50 minutes north of Naples, 2.5 to Miami, and about 3 hours to the parks there in Orlando, to Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, all those great things. Now, as we zoom in here, you'll see Cape Coral is a peninsula. It's absolutely fascinating. It's a design city designed by the Rosen brothers back in the late 50s. And as you can see, it was carved out. What they did is they dredged the canals, they threw the dirt or the sand up on top to make land and lots, and then they sold off the lots individually. Now today, we're going to talk about the Yacht Club neighborhood. That's going to be this area right here in the very southeastern tip of Cape Coral. It's going to be the Caloosahatchee River on the eastern side and the southern side, and then it's going to be bordered by the San Carlos and the Bimini canals on the western side, and then on the northern side is Cape Coral Parkway. So first thing we're going to jump into is I want to show you where the Yacht Club is located, because that's what the neighborhood is considered, the Yacht Club neighborhood, and that's going to be right here in the very southern part. When Hurricane Ian went through back in September of 2022, the Yacht Club had significant damage, and so the city decided that they were going to completely tear it down and rebuild a new, better, more amazing yacht club. So that was the idea. However, they went in and they completely knocked it down, and they still have not started rebuilding yet. It's 2026 and they're still working on plans. The plans get redone. Now the budget's about $225 million, so they're working on where they're getting all the funding for it, so they're going to start working on it in phases. So the best estimate is that this will not be close to completion until 2030. However, the beach is still open. This is one of Cape Coral's very few beaches where you can actually go stick your feet in the white sand, look at the water, read a book, and just enjoy your time there. It's a really nice area to go if you're just looking for somewhere relaxing. Now, it does border on the river, so you do have river water there, which is just fine, especially if you're used to going in a lake up north. It's the exact same idea. It's not quite the Gulf, but it certainly is a very close option if you're just looking to go stick your feet in the sand and enjoy some beach time for the afternoon. Now, as you can see here, this was the original Cape Coral Yacht Club, and this was the community building right here, and then the swimming pool. This was the marina back here, and then of course the dock and the boathouse, tiki bar, and restaurant. Now the boathouse did catch fire a few years ago, so that's been completely destroyed as well. So we're basically getting a complete makeover here, and they're calling it a resort style amenities, where you're going to have an incredible swimming pool, an incredible community center. The marina is going to be spectacular. They're actually going to put in a 3-car parking garage, so have access to the parking, so there's plenty of space there as well. And then the boathouse is going to be rebuilt. The restaurant, the boathouse is going to be rebuilt as well, which is going to be several levels. Just a magnificent place to go watch sunsets, enjoy some good food and drinks. And then of course the pier is going to be rebuilt as well, which was a great place for fishing and for just enjoying being out on the water. Now the boat ramps were right here. They're going to be shifted back to the back of the property, giving this whole area here just a full open beach, which is going to be designed in a great way. It's going to have a playground, I believe a splash pad, and an amazing swimming pool as well for the folks that want to enjoy that. So that's the Yacht Club. Right now, it still is just an empty space, but I do have confidence that over the next few years, that it will turn into something quite spectacular. So anyone that buys property in this area that's close to the yacht club is certainly going to see property values start to increase. Now let's check out some other areas of the yacht club community. I will point out this area as well. Right here on Flamingo Drive is going to be some of Cape Coral's original houses. The very first 8 houses were built right here in this area right here. They were not on the canal, they were landlocked. And some of them still sit there today. For instance, like this little one here. I believe this is one here as well. But what's happening now, if you can see, this is some prime real estate right here. So the ones on the river, they're coming in and knocking down the little houses like this one. And then they're going to go in and build large McMansions there, like little mansions there that are going to be absolutely spectacular. And they've already started doing that, some of them around here. As you can see, these homes are typically in the 7,000, 8,000 square foot range. Absolutely incredible. And then as we go a little bit further north here on Riverside Drive, you're going to see some spectacular properties here on the point. These are all brand new, except for this little one right here, but all these other ones are brand new, and you can get a real idea of what's happening in this southeast part of Cape Coral, where folks are going in, buying up these little houses. These lots are going for over $1 million oftentimes, and they're knocking down the house, the older property, and then they're filling up every square inch of that lot to build these incredible, large, beautiful homes there. And they're very desirable because they're deep water canals right on the river or easy access to the river. And that's what's happening there right now in this area. And one of the reasons that a lot of people, including myself, say that Cape Coral is becoming a luxury real estate market, drawing in a lot of money to this area because it's just such a convenient area with affordable prices where you can just have incredible homes. So let's go north now. We're going to go north to Cape Coral Parkway, because if you live in this neighborhood, this is where you're going to do all your shopping. Now, we currently have the new areas of this area, which here's Bimini Basin. This is where the boat parade starts. Just a great area there. We have Freedom Park right here where you can go and hang out. They do have a little beach there. It's really nothing special at the moment, but I do believe they're going to be redoing that here in the near future. But here's where they just built the Bimini Square, which has Lee Health put in a lot of doctor's offices there, including a pediatrician's office. And then there's a restaurant right here called the Bimini Basin Seafood, and they have cocktails right on the water. Just absolutely beautiful to go and spend the evening and watch the boats in the basin there. Now, as we jump over here, we go up to 47th Terrace, and this is going to be your main area. That's 1 block north of Cape Coral Parkway is 47th Terrace. And right here, they're going to have lots of different fun things to do. You have Rusty's, which is a bar. Right here, they've got live music, they have outdoor bar, indoor seating. Then you have Backstreets, which has karaoke and several live music all the time. They have a pool hall over here, and then they have the country bar right here, where you can go and actually enjoy country music, do your line dancing, things like that. And then over here, they have Cape Cabaret, which oftentimes will have a lot of cover bands there doing really cool music. I took my father-in-law there to see the Beatles recently, do a cover band there. It was really a fun time. And then, of course, I'll point out here you have Merrick's Fish House or Fishtail, which is going to be a great seafood restaurant if you're looking for enjoyable seafood. And then plenty of other businesses, restaurants, just a ton of things to do here. This is really the main area if you're looking to go out on the town or you're looking for great restaurants here in Southeast Cape Coral. Also, here's the Cove at 47th, which is a huge apartment complex, luxury apartment complex they just built, but they also put in a restaurant right here on the corner called Aqua, seafood, steak, raw bar, and they do have a rooftop bar there as well, which is a really nice feature to go and enjoy the Florida evenings. Right here, you're going to have the Aldi. It was a Winn-Dixie, but the Winn-Dixie is now being replaced by Aldi, which is a grocery store here in the area. And then as we go along, I'm going to point out just a couple more things here before we jump into the distance to open water. But right here is now the Slipaway Food Truck Park. Right here, doesn't look like much right now, but this is just a beautiful place where you can go. They've got several transient slips there where you can dock your boat, enjoy some great food from the food trucks, or you can go by car as well and pull your car in, and then just so many different options there. They've got a bar as well, and just really enjoy the time. And then right over here, Bernice Braden Park, they just put in the largest flagpole and flag in all of Florida. It's 250 feet high, and that's to commemorate the 250th year anniversary of the United States. An absolutely cool thing to see, especially when you're driving across the bridge here from Fort Myers into Cape Coral. It's spectacular. The flag towers over the bridge, and it's just a great sight to see to welcome you home to Cape Coral. So I just wanted to point that out as well. And that's the southeast part of Cape Coral, here south of Cape Coral Parkway. This is the yacht club area. So let's go ahead and jump in and look at distance to open water. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, let's jump into distance to open water. So if you were to purchase a home here in the yacht club neighborhood, how long would it actually take you to navigate your boat out to open water? That's a great question, and we're going to answer that right now. We're going to dive into each different canal, each different section, different area, and give you a real clear picture of what that looks like. Now, the great thing is this area here, you're probably the maximum you're looking at is about a 20-minute run to the Caloosahatchee River from anywhere in this canal system. So it's a pretty safe bet that wherever you buy, you're going to have easy access. Obviously, the easier access, if you're within a couple of minutes or you're right on the river, you're going to pay a premium for that. Whereas if you're 20 minutes back, then it might be a little bit cheaper. That also has to do with direct and indirect canals as well. If you're on a direct canal, Gulf access canal, meaning there is not any bridges, then you're going to pay a little extra than if you were in indirect, meaning you would need to go under a bridge. And we're going to get into bridge heights here in just a moment, but right now we're going to talk about distance to open water here in the Cape Coral Yacht Club neighborhood. So let's start here. Let's go into the Bimini Bay area and this canal system here. We're going to go the whole way back here, stretch back to the Atlantic Canal. That's going to be right back here. And from this very far point, this is probably about as far back as you can go in this canal system. You're looking at about 2 miles, 20 minutes to get out to the river from here. Now, the important thing to understand about the Bimini Basin Canal System here on this side is it's all going to be direct access. So you don't have any bridges to contend with or to worry about. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out as well, since we are here and we are looking at this, if you'll see here, these larger buildings here, we have them there. We have them over here. Now, these buildings here are going to be condos, typically, or townhomes. And many of them have they have two types of slips. There's the deeded slip, meaning when you buy the unit, a slip comes with it. That's your deeded slip. That's only your slip. You can use that as much as you want, or it's only for you. Or they have it where it's the community slip. So it's first come, first serve. So if it's available when you get there, you can dock your boat. If it's not available, then you're out of luck. So I always tell people it's really important when you're buying a condo in Cape Coral to try to find one that has a deeded dock. And I think as we zoom in here, looks like this building may have that, where you see all the boats lined up there, whereas something like this, it's just pretty much first come, first serve. So it really is important to understand that if you are looking for a condo in the area. Now, with that being said, most of the condos here in this area of Southeast Cape Coral are a little bit on the older side. Many of these condos were built back in the 70s, the 80s. So you definitely need to be aware when you're going into purchasing something like that, what it offers and what your potential costs are in the future. The other thing I wanted to point out that I didn't point out just a few minutes ago was this whole area right here from Cape Coral Parkway south to Victoria Drive, bordered by Coronado on the eastern side here. This has all been purchased by the city of Cape Coral, except for a couple of holdouts there that still have their buildings there. But the city of Cape Coral went in and purchased this about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, and they've completely gotten rid of all of these buildings in here, except for just a couple. And the reason they're doing that, there was a lot of multi-units in there. A lot of it was run down. The upkeep was not maintained on them. And so they went in and they've knocked it all down. Now it is zoned multi-use, so the idea is they'll probably go in and build luxury apartments, retail space, restaurants, things like that, and make it really attractive, which seems to be the design or the way, the direction that we're heading in Cape Coral, where we want to definitely make it beautiful and pretty amazing. And so it's really incredible to see that scale of devotion in order to make the city nicer, better. Now, one of the things that I'll point out as well is here on the corner is George's Auto Repair. And this corner right here on the corner of Cape Coral Parkway and Coronado was the original sales center for Cape Coral. When the Rosen brothers first started selling it in the late 50s, this is where the original sales center actually sat and where folks would come in to first look at Cape Coral when it was nothing but just a few canals. All right, let's jump over here to Bimini Basin. This is another great area right here. Bimini Basin, it's going to take you it's about 1.4 miles to get out to the river, and then about 14 minutes. And like I said, now they have the Bimini Basin seafood restaurant here where you can dock your boat at the transient slips. You can come right in for dinner, make a reservation, and just really have an enjoyable time right on the water. Right from your own backyard, you can just jump in your boat, head right on over, and have dinner. All right, let's go ahead and move on down. Now here's the Tower Canal. And if you're living right along this canal, you've bought a home here, you're looking at about 1.6 miles, about 15 minutes to get on out to the river. And as you can see, many of these canals are skinnier canals. They're about 80 feet across in this area. They really give you that intimate feeling like a boater community. Your boaters or your neighbors all have their boats docked right across from you, and it really makes it nice as you see the boats go by and you can wave at your neighbors and just really enjoy that incredible community. Another thing I'll point out is on a canal system in Cape Coral, on a canal in your backyard, you can only put your dock about 25% into the water. So if this is an 80-foot canal, it's 80 feet across, you can put your dock about 20 feet out, as can your neighbor, and then there's about 40 feet for you to traverse. Let's zoom back out here and let's go on down. Let's jump up here to the Saxony Canal. So this is the Saxony Canal. This is just south of Cape Coral Parkway. You're looking at about 1.3 miles, 13 minutes to get on out to the open water from here. And then this is the San Carlos Canal, which as you can see, it gets much wider. It's over 200 feet across. This is premium real estate to have a home right on the San Carlos Canal. And as we go on down, I will tell you that these canals over here on this side, this is part of the 8 Lakes Tarpon Point neighborhood. So I went ahead and went over that in my last video that I did on 8 Lakes Tarpon Point. So if you're curious about distance to open water in these neighborhoods, go ahead and check that one out. It's the 8 Lakes and Tarpon Point. All right, so we're staying in the Yacht Club neighborhood. So this is where Bimini Canal and San Carlos Canal connect, they meet. And you're looking at about 0.65 miles, about 6 minutes to get on down to the river from here. But if you've ever dreamed of living on a canal, check this out. This is tropical Florida at its best. Homes right here on these intersecting canals. Typical lot frontage, there's about 80 feet for a home. Like these homes here from going across, it's about 80 feet. And then you really get these prime lots where they've torn down the old houses, built these huge homes here, and you have water frontage the entire way around. When you look out your windows in your house, you're just sitting on water. It's absolutely incredible. And if we jump over here to the Bayshore Canal, you're looking at about 0.4 miles, about 4 minutes, just to get on down here to the river and Redfish Cove. Let's jump over here to the Congo Canal. Now this is the Coral Canal here, and the Congo Canal is 0.6 miles, about 6 minutes from this location, on down to the Coral Canal and then on up to the river. In the boat parade, when it starts over here in Bimini Basin, there's a Christmas boat parade every single December. Usually it's the first or second week of December, and it's absolutely fascinating. They have well over 100 boats that are completely decked out in Christmas lights, Christmas decorations, and they just go on down the canal system here. They get down the Bimini Canal the whole way down, and then they go over here and then into these different canal systems. And it's absolutely fascinating to watch them go by. So it's great to have a friend that lives on one of these canals that you can watch it. The boats are playing, the music, the lights are flashing, the decorations are really cool and fascinating. So I highly recommend that if you're here in the Cape Coral area or you're purchasing a home here, to check that out. Now here you have the Coral Canal, and then we're going to jump over here to the Dolphin Canal. And from this canal right here, the Driftwood Canal, it's about 0.7 miles, 7 minutes to get on out here to the river. So everywhere you're at, anywhere you're at, the distance to open water is actually very easily accessible from anywhere here in the Southeast Yacht Club area. These peninsulas here are definitely prime real estate as well. You just have incredible homes here right on the water. And the thing about these homes too, they don't often go up for sale just because it is such an incredible value, and they are hard to find sometimes in these certain neighborhoods. So when you do see something go up for sale, oftentimes they are hard to get. They sell for a premium, and unless they're grossly overpriced, they usually sell pretty quickly. All right, we're going to jump over here to the Yacht Club. So this is where they're building out the Yacht Club. It's going to be about 0.3 miles, about 4 minutes, or I'm sorry, about 3 minutes down the Flamingo Canal. Just a quick jot right on down here. And once they get the boathouse built again, they'll have plenty of transient slips along here where you can dock your boat and enjoy the sunset, have a great lunch, have a great dinner. It's just a really fascinating and enjoyable place. Okay, here we are in the original Cape Coral, this little bit right here. I'm going to jump on up. The Lennox Canal. Let's talk about the Lennox Canal. So right here's the Lennox Canal. This is just north of the Yacht Club, and you're looking at about a half a mile, about 5 minutes to get on out to the river from here. We come back in here, you're looking at the Monterey Canal up here. You're about 0.9 miles, 9 minutes to get on out. Just right on out. Easy, easy, easy. And then we'll jump here to the Malibu Canal. Look at about 0.4 miles, 4 minutes to get on out to the river. Just love seeing how Cape Coral is changing and how they're building these incredible homes here on all these points. Here's another example of where they just went in and leveled whatever was sitting there, and they're going to build another large home. Such a desirable space, and there's still so much available that people, even though it is a premium you pay, if you were to buy this same property in Naples, Miami, Tampa, Sarasota, you would be paying 2, 3, 4 times as much as you do in Cape Coral for the exact same land. Let's shoot on up the river here. Let's go back in to the Bimini Canal system here. So the Bimini Canal carries across from Bimini Basin. This is the Bimini Canal. However, there is not a bridge here. So we have 2 canal systems, and you must run the one here that takes you out to Caloosahatchee River to the east. So you cannot get through to Bimini Basin from here. If you wanted to go to Bimini Basin, you need to go out to the river and then around. So right now we're going to look at the York Canal, which is this canal right here. 1.1 miles, about 11 minutes to get on out to the river. Now from here, you do have one bridge. This is Del Prado. We do have a bridge that you do have to go under if you're living in these areas here. You bought a home here. So this is the only area of the yacht club neighborhood that you're not able to have a sailboat or a tall center console, maybe a larger cabin cruiser, things like that, that you may not be able to dock back here. So it's just good to be aware of where you're buying and what obstacles or what bridges you have prior to getting out to the open river. But we're going to go into this bridge height here in just a moment. Let's go on down here to Windsor Canal. We're at about 0.7 miles, about 7 minutes to get on out to the river. Then the last one we're going to look at here is Bikini Basin, which is this little area right here, just south of Cape Coral Parkway and Del Prado. And it's going to be about 0.3 miles, 3 minutes to get on out to the open water, to the river there. And really, it's so close. Like if you are any of these areas here, any of these neighborhoods are very easy to get over to Fort Myers. And a lot of people that work in Fort Myers, where they go over there a lot, they love the yacht club neighborhood because it's so easy to get over to Fort Myers just across the bridge. Every 4th of July, the city of Cape Coral closes down Cape Coral Parkway from Del Prado east, this whole area and the bridge, and they do what's called Red, White, and Boom. And it's a huge fireworks display. They have live music, just a great time. And what you'll have is a lot of people will take their boats right over here and just sit in the river and watch the fireworks. And it's absolutely incredible. Or if you don't want to take the boat, you can certainly park your car over here in downtown Cape Coral and then walk. And it's a really great time. It's called the biggest event in all of Southwest Florida each year because it attracts thousands and thousands of people. All right, that covers the distance to open water here in the yacht club area. So the Cape Coral distance to open water in the yacht club area. A lot of great areas, really affordable areas still, but easy access to get out to the river. All right, next up, we're going to jump into bridge heights. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, let's jump into bridge heights for the Cape Coral Yacht Club area here. It's really important to understand the mean high water level. That's the average of the high tides over the last several years. So you get an idea of what type of boat you can actually dock in your backyard. Now, we're going to start here. If we look at the Bimini Basin area, now this is the area that's going to be west of Coronado Parkway and then east of, we've got the San Carlos here and then Bimini Canal down here. Anywhere in this area here, you're not going to have any bridges to concern yourself with. So you can dock sailboats, you can dock some cabin cruisers, you can dock all kinds of stuff back here. And oftentimes, if you go to the Four Freedoms Park here on Bimini Basin, you'll see lots of sailboats in that area there. So it's a really easy area. If you're going to buy a home in this area, you don't have to concern yourself. The only thing you need to concern yourself is width of the canal, really. And of course, depth. But down here towards the bottom, you're going to have very deep water canals. And really, you have the sky's the limit on what you want to have back there, or you can have. So we're talking about bridge height, and the only bridge we're going to have in this area is this bridge right here that goes under, it's on the Bimini Canal, and it goes under Del Prado, the very southern part of Del Prado Boulevard. And it's going to be this bridge here. And the bridge height is going to be 8 feet 6 inches is going to be your clearance going under there. And that's an estimate. So just understand that when you're buying a home back behind this bridge, you need to understand what exactly it is that you can have back here. Now, a lot of people will have a pontoon, they'll have center consoles, they'll have bow riders, they'll have all kinds of great stuff, some Boston whalers. However, you just can't have the taller stuff like the sailboats or the center consoles that have the tall T-tops. Just understand the clearance is about 8 feet 6 inches. Now, anywhere else in the canal systems out here on the river, south of El Dorado Parkway, and here you have direct Gulf access, meaning there are no bridges to contend with. So a really great canal system. It's one of the best in Cape Coral for accessibility. So if you are looking for accessibility, this is a great place to be. Now, I will say that a lot of the homes in this area are still older because this is the original area that was built out. So you get a lot of homes that were built back in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and then you have a few homes sprinkled through that were built in 2020, 2022, 2015, 2016. And what happened is folks go in and they buy the land, the house is not worth much, and they knock it down, and then they build a newer home there. There's just not a lot of land available here. The only land that becomes available, something like this, is land that there was typically another house that was on, and somebody went in and knocked it down, and then they're going to build another house there, or just sell the lot for the value of the land, which in these direct access areas sell for a premium. Okay, next up we're going to talk about flood zones for this area of Cape Coral. I want to hit on that information, so let's go ahead and jump into that right now. All right, let's talk about flood zones for Southeast Cape Coral. We're going to talk about the flood zones here in the Cape Coral Yacht Club area. And as you know, there's three main flood zones that you really need to be aware of here in the city of Cape Coral. There's AE, there's X500, and there's X. Now, AE says that there's a 1 in 100 chance of having a significant flood event each year. Zone 500 means there's a 1 in 500 chance of having a significant flood event each year, and then X has very minimal flood risk. So in the Southeast Cape Coral Yacht Club area, the entire area is pretty much going to be zone AE, meaning your lender will require you to have flood insurance if you have a mortgage on a home here in this area. Now, I highly recommend that even if you don't have a mortgage, if you're paying cash, it's wise to have flood insurance in this area. And it does go at a premium because you are in a lower lying area. Now, if we zoom in here, you'll see zone AE, elevation 8 feet. Now, any new construction would need to be built at a minimum base level of 9 feet per the building code. However, many of the homes in here are built lower than that. Now, you have many homes that were built back in the 60s and the 70s, some of the older homes that during Hurricane Ian, which happened in September of 2022, were significantly damaged by the hurricane. They were flooded, the flood water came in, and they were damaged. So many of them have been rehabbed, many of them were knocked down. And a lot of that had to do with the 50% rule. And basically, what they say, what FEMA says, that if the damage to the home, the cost to repair the damage to the home is more than 50% of the value of the home either needs to be brought up to a higher level, or typically they're torn down because the cost to bring them up to speed is far more than if they just tear the home down and start over. So that's basically what happened in this area in Cape Coral after Hurricane Ian. Now, to make you aware, oftentimes, or not often, but what did happen is some investors came in and bought these homes very cheap. They went in and did work that was not permitted. Maybe the home should have been torn down or the 50% rule applied to it, but they thought they could skirt around it. And so the permits weren't pulled. They went in and did a lot of beautiful finishes in the homes. But you need to be aware of this. You need to have a good agent, a good realtor that can pull the permits, that can look and make sure that the work was done correctly, because you don't want to get stuck with a home that had a lot of work done that wasn't permitted or that wasn't done correctly, because that can give you problems or challenges down the road with insurance, with refinancing, with selling it down the road. So it's extremely important to understand and to have a great realtor that understands the system and how it works, and to protect you as the buyer. And when you're looking on Zillow or Redfin, where your agent's sending you photos, what you're going to see is you're going to see these beautiful homes. They're older homes built back in the 60s, the 70s, maybe the 80s, and they've gone in and they have new tile flooring, they have new kitchens, quartz countertops, new bathrooms, showers. They look spectacular. Well, that's a red flag, or I shouldn't say a red flag, but that's a flag that you should be aware that that home likely suffered damage during Hurricane Ian, and you need to do the due diligence on that. They are often priced at a good price, a good value, and I wouldn't say run from those homes, because I think that there's some good opportunities there for the right person, especially if you're looking for something affordable in a great location with easy access to open water. They really present a great product for the right person, but you do need to be aware of what you're buying. And that's what I'm always 100% a stickler on, is you need to be aware of what you're buying before you go forward. So I wanted to throw that out there because there were some challenges here in this area of flooding. And the reason for that is that Hurricane Ian was what they called, it went on land just north of Cape Coral, the northern part of Cape Coral. And so hurricanes always swirl counterclockwise. And if you're on the southern side, it's going to swirl. And the challenge is it pushed all the water up the river, the Caloosahatchee River, and there was nothing to protect it here, and that water went right into the neighborhoods and flooded a lot of homes there. Homes here in the southwest are protected by the mangroves, so they didn't see quite the flooding as they did here in the southeastern part of Cape Coral. Now, with that being said, if you live over here in Southwest, your access to open water is typically significantly longer than if you live over here in the Southeast. So it really just becomes a matter of what you're comfortable with, what your priorities are, and what your goals are. Now, in the last 60 plus years that Cape Coral has been a city, we've only had one significant hurricane go through that actually did any major flooding or damage to the city, and that was Hurricane Ian in September of 2022. Are we likely to see another one anytime soon? Nobody can tell the future, but you do have to know what your comfort level is and what your budget can afford, especially if you're paying for those higher premiums for flood insurance. So with that being said, it's definitely encouraged to have a great real estate agent that understands all these different aspects of it. The distance to open water, how high the bridges are, the clearance, and of course, flood zones. That's going to put you in the best position to buy a home here in Cape Coral. You need to understand exactly what you're buying. So my recommendation is go ahead and book that strategy call. It's a complimentary video call with me. We're going to talk about flood zones, bridge heights, distance to open water. But we're also going to talk about different neighborhoods. We're going to talk about your budget, what it is that you're looking to spend, and what it is that you're looking to accomplish. You're going to tell me what your priorities are, and then we're going to focus on that. And then I can start sending homes your way so you can get an idea of exactly what Cape Coral offers and if Cape Coral is the city for you. Because it's not for everyone, but it is for a lot of people. And if you're sitting up there in the Midwest and Northeast and it's getting close to October and you're thinking about putting your boat back into storage again for another 7 months, Cape Coral might be the place for you. Imagine having your boat docked right in your own backyard where you can take it out anytime, 365 days a year. You can go island hopping, maybe take it out to a local restaurant, or do some incredible fishing out on the Gulf or some of the backwater here. So I would love to chat with you. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, relocating, retiring here in the city of Cape Coral, go ahead and reach out to me. Click the link right below and let's start that conversation. Whether you're a year out, a month out, or 3 years out, we can start that conversation now and get you down here living your dream in the near future. Now, it always starts with a phone call. So I look forward to connecting with you. I'm excited. Have a great day. I'm Barry Cessna, your Golf Access Canal Realtor here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral.